It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. Good morning. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. I said good morning, didn't I already? Good morning a second time and a third time.
Well, listen, it's a very good morning.
What a week we've had.
Yes.
We started out with Taylor Swift, ending up with Taylor Swift apparently still. So
it's a Taylor Swift world. We're just
with the Kaepernick,
privileged to be in it.
With the Kaepernick thrown in the middle.
Yeah.
I love it.
That he may be moving to Canada.
Yeah.
And by the way,
that's breaking news.
That's not a threat like I'm leaving this country.
No.
It's like he may be playing Canadian football. Now, I don't know if he would live there. I would guess he would have at least an apartment.
The biggest story in football outside of Miami against Buffalo this weekend is the Canadian Football League may be interested in Colin Kaepernick. Now, he's a Marxist. Here's what we're wondering. He's a Marxist. They've never shown interest before the Canadian Football League until a day and a half after the Canadian Parliament gave a standing ovation to a Nazi.
He may get a standing ovation that never ends.
By the way, when I do stuff like that, I feel like I'm a Democrat trying to compare one thing to another.
Yeah.
It's like
well, just using the word Nazi these days makes you feel like a Democrat. He's a Nazi! Except when we were pointing to the actual Nazi that they gave the standing ovation to, we were actually correct. He was literally a Nazi.
And the speaker resigned because he didn't vet the Nazi.
And Jordan Peterson is the Nazi.
And Jordan Peterson's the problem. Oh, but that came out from Canada. That was okay this week.
What?
The transgender polling that came out.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
It may be larger than in the United States, the anti-radical transgender movement, because it was like 67%. It was huge in Canada. Well, they probably had enough because they've been, they've actually gone, more further than we have.
Yeah.
When it comes to, the pronoun, enforcing pronouns and jailing people. They've actually jailed people who would not agree to use the proper pronouns. So, maybe the pushback is greater there. Yeah, but the latest is there's a 45-day window now for the BC Lions to negotiate with Colin Kaepernick.
So does that window mean an exclusive that he can only talk to the team? Or what does the 45-day thing mean? Do we know?
I have no idea.
It's just, is that how long a month is in Canada?
Well, here's
because the field is
the field's
110
longer, right? So well, Thanksgiving's coming up. What, in the next week or two? Canadian Thanksgiving's right around the corner.
Oh.
By the way, I can do this because my family the McNamara side comes from Canada.
Well, and I can do this because I don't like Canadians.
And the Halliburton. Hey!
I only say it because it's true.
Canadians have
we
a sense of
love Canadians.
Canadians have a sense of humor. Yeah, we get some great calls. Well, we at least like Alberta.
I think that was clear that I was only implying Alberta.
The Texas of Canada.
Not the Nazi lovers, the good people of Canada.
Yes, right. We like the good people of Canada, not the Nazis your parliament cheers for.
Exactly.
I'm sure every Canadian that's listening right now recognizes the enjoyment we have that Canada, for a little bit, is the center of attention this week.
Yeah, right. Now, it's not good attention, but you understand it. You know why it's happening. Wow.
I don't know if the negotiations have to do with the fact that he's American, because you have to have you have to have a certain number of Canadian football players in the CFL.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And so they're discriminating against Kaepernick.
Because of his nationality?
Because of his nationality.
Oh, that's going to be a problem when they decide not to bring him on to the football team.
The negotiations are probably, we know we need to ask you this, and you need to sign here on the dotted line. Mm-hmm. We need to know that you will stand for the Canadian national anthem, even though Parliament gave a standing ovation to a Nazi.
Yeah.
And he would simply say, well, look, I'm a Marxist. Right. I'm more communist. So we communists hate Nazis. And they can get into that discussion. And we'll send that discussion. You can have that one on Canadian Talk Radio. Should we favor the Marxist communist or the Nazi?
Maybe that's why they're talking to him. To recover from the whole we cheered for a Nazi thing.
Right. We're going to go find the enemies of Nazis. Where's a Marxist communist? Where's Kaepernick? Let's get him up here.
Let's bring him in. Hey, would you want to become a Canadian citizen?
For those of you who don't think that talk radio can be fun.
Yeah, you don't know what you're missing.
I don't like that talk radio. They're always angry. There's never anything entertaining to talk about.
Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, there is.
Sometimes there's a sliver.
I mean, who'd have thought, going back to 2017, in 2023, we'll still be laughing about the Kaepernick thing.
Oh, you saw?
Here we are.
Speaking of football.
Yeah.
Did you see that the USFL and the XFL have merged together? The two minor leagues,
Yeah.
The XFL, which actually has, and they actually, that was the one, The Rock.
Okay.
Has the XFL. The USFL is owned by Fox. They're the ones that just played in a couple of stadiums, and even last year, they had nobody in the stadiums.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times where you wondered if anybody paid for a ticket to the USFL. XFL drew they drew some pretty decent crowds.
And now they've merged?
They've merged, right. And now
who owns who?
There's no word, nothing. Nobody has, they haven't released anything except for the fact that they announced that they merged. I actually would watch occasionally. I didn't watch any of the XFL at all, but I would occasionally watch a USFL just to see, because I would watch it long enough to see if a camera actually showed the grandstands to see how many people were in there. It's like, wow, they're playing to nobody. And that isn't about football or mocking at all. And I want to make that clear.
Just an interest in who might be watching, or if anybody's watching.
No, for me, it was the business model. If nobody's in the stands, what's your business model? What's your, when you look at it, you're looking for some type of progressive growth. Well, apparently it wasn't there. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the merger. Now, why the XFL did it, I don't know. I don't know the finances behind the XFL. But minor leagues in football are just, I don't know. I don't know whether it's because you need so many players on it. I don't know. They cut back. The minor leagues of baseball cut back, pretty much here after COVID. There's a lot fewer minor league teams, but they do have a healthy farm system. The National Hockey League. You think about the National Hockey League with the American Hockey League, and that's the interesting thing. Football, with all the massive amounts of money that dwarfs any other sport out there, really doesn't have and has never had a consistently long minor league system to draw from. Hockey, which you could probably say, if you look at it from the United States perspective, and maybe, I don't know, even Canada compared to, for example, an NBA team like the Raptors, I don't know. But in the United States, they are definitely third. Excuse me, fourth. You would have Major League Football, or you had the National Football League, Major League Baseball, the NBA, and then probably hockey. But you think about the hockey has had, the minor league teams in hockey are all over the country.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That the least popular sport probably has had the longest and some of the healthiest, minor league systems. Not that Major League Baseball hasn't, but why haven't you ever had it for the NFL? Injuries? Are the injuries too does that cost? What
Maybe.
is it? Or is there just no interest? Or is it because college and high school, you don't need a minor league in football?
No, I think that's it, probably. If there were any one thing, it would be that. Right. You've got enough between high school football, college.
Yeah.
And how many nights a week the NFL is on the air now? But Tuesday.
Let me see. Thursday.
Tuesday and Wednesday, they're not on the air. Saturday, I guess, unless it's playoff.
No, because you have Saturday games starting when college football takes that break between December and the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have that break, and then the NFL plays Saturday games then, and then during.
But the regular season, it's
Thursday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. And Sunday there are 1,400 games.
And Sunday night. Sunday night.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday starts, pregame starts at 3 a.m.
And last week they had 2 Monday night football games.
Yeah. So you get your fill.
Yeah. So 45 days to deal negotiations with Kaepernick. I don't even know if the stories didn't even say whether he was interested or not.
Right. And the XFL, this merger thing with USFL and XFL is they've announced their intention.
The intention,
to merge,
right?
Which is a technical term. They have to get approval from regulators who want to make sure it's not a monopoly. We don't want you controlling all this now. This massive amount of wealth and whatnot.
I haven't studied it a lot. You and I talked about it, but just at a very surface level yesterday, and we never got to it. We probably will, but just a couple of seconds on it. The whole Amazon monopoly thing, which I still don't see yet where they're going legally.
Okay, because, what you have is essentially lawmakers and officials saying, you guys at Amazon set out to do something and you did it successfully. And you're killing your competitors. First of all, if you want to say monopoly, I don't see that at all. In terms of what's going on right now, especially with Walmart, you only have to go to the annual meeting at Walmart to know what they're doing to compete with who they see now as their main competitor, and that's Amazon. And you see this with CVS now is getting more into the e-commerce game. They're closing a ton of stores. But they're also going to be focusing more on their e-commerce. And, there are a number of things there that raise some questions about, again, what constitutes a monopoly? Because they're the biggest? Because they're so gigantic?
We'll talk more because there's a couple of questions. And that's the one thing I will be absolutely upfront about it. There's a lot of things I've learned and I know about. I still haven't figured out the legalities of a monopoly yet, and how they.
Well, because again, a political
it's
term is not the same as a legal term. So when you're going after them legally, so what do? Well, break them up. You need to. Bezos needs to allow other retailers to use his distribution system that he invested in all along. He built it.
Right.
So now they need to get, or is this just about
they have to be
the smaller Amazon sellers who say they're being forced into doing this or that? Well,
okay.
Did you get an advantage from participating in that system?
Yeah, a couple more things we'll talk about it, but there's a couple other things I really don't understand either, how the Democrats can say the border is secure. I'm still befuddled on on that one completely, and how the Republicans are only trying to go after Joe Biden because he loves his son. Those are some of the other questions that I have that I don't fully understand.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So it's not just a monopoly. 866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
It is the first pilot project announced within the Agriculture Department's Agricultural Science Center for Excellence and Diet, Ascend for Better Health.
Our pilot hub that's going to be in partnership between the Department of Agriculture, the Agriculture Research Service, the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and Southern University in Louisiana.
Undersecretary for Research, Education, and Economics Shavonda Jacobs-Young in Louisiana Thursday announcing the launch of the new Nutrition Hub,
which will go into a community working on the ground with a trusted partner and reaching the people
with research information and solutions for improved food and nutrition security, particularly within underserved communities and populations. Since Ascend for Better Health's establishment, community engagement has been conducted to better understand nutrition needs for specific communities. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. You see one of the complaints about the Federal Trade Commission and the 175-page thing that they came out talking about Amazon being a monopoly. Mm-hmm. So much of it's redacted.
Yeah, right.
One of the biggest complaints, it's like, wow, they're redacted.
Yeah.
Let me see the headline here from, I think it was American Prospect. The redacted case against Amazon.
And that's it. Look, clearly, Jeff Bezos and I don't see eye to eye on a number of things. But let's talk about the system itself. Let's talk about the company itself that he sets up. What is driving what he's doing? It's the demand. And if the FTC is saying, well, we have a problem because you're controlling market share, well, any companies can come in and say, Walmart actually has done a lot recently in saying, hey, we can also get you things. Now, this is we live in a major metro area, but they can do this in major metro areas where they can get things delivered that are on the store shelves. So they don't have to have a warehouse. They have somebody deliver it right there, and you can get that if you've got your Walmart Plus membership. You can get some of that stuff delivered even for free. There's no delivery charge on it. And, these are the things that drive a marketplace. These are the things that drive market share. When Jeff Bezos invested in these massive, massive jumbo cargo planes, everybody knew he was serious. Because basically at that point, he was telling Fred Smith over at FedEx, I don't need you. I can do this with some help from I'm setting up my own delivery infrastructure, creating new businesses there with the local last mile deliveries and some of the people that own those fleets of vans. Then on top of that, he can still partner with UPS and individuals in a big, big way. So it was very clear that he was setting this up to meet demand and compete with Walmart and other major retailers. But that doesn't constitute a monopoly, in my opinion. I don't see this, and I don't see the case for it. So I guess we'll see how far it goes with the FTC.
The Bonus Show.
It's Friday Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, the polling is out. Likely Republican voters think Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had the best performance in the second Republican debate.
Okay.
The poll conducted by the Washington Post asked 2,200 likely voters in the Republican primary to grade each candidate's performance during the debate. When polled following the debate, 33% of respondents thought DeSantis performed the best during the debate, followed by Haley at 18%, Ramaswamy at 15%, 24% of people polled thought former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie performed the worst.
Hey, I would agree with that. And I wasn't even polled.
Quack. So that's the Donald Duck.
They'll
thing.
be calling you Donald Duck. Huh? How'd you like that? Huh? I came up with that on my own. Duck.
Yeah, no
Get it?
No self-awareness
Get
really
it?
there at all.
Duck.
Wow. So there you have it. 33% thought Christie won. Thought that DeSantis won. 18% Haley. Ramaswamy 15%. 87% Trump.
Because that's the real number. Who's leading in the poll overall? So what they're saying is, aside from the person who's leading in all the polls,
you ready for this?
No.
A couple of other stories here. A bipartisan group of 5 lawmakers are sending a letter Friday urging the Biden administration to fully enforce laws preventing goods manufactured with forced labor from entering American ports. The lawmakers, led by Representative Carol Miller of West Virginia, who are all members of the House Ways and Means Committee, penned this letter to Customs and Border Protection. They urge them to ensure full enforcement of the 2021 Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, especially if it pertains to the billion-dollar solar industry, citing information showing his agency may be falling short of the labor laws requirements.
Oh.
So this is, again, Biden and China. Because of what we've been doing, the Biden administration is making it easier for China to produce and cheaper for China to produce solar panels, but they're also using forced slave labor to do so.
Right.
And as they write here, this is bipartisan. You have Democrats on this. In the name of climate change, the Biden administration is surrendering the United States to the CCP by allowing solar panels manufactured with Chinese polysilicon to avoid detection. They are encouraging Uyghur forced labor, distorting the market, and killing American jobs. Well, we've been telling you this all along. Hey, UAW, are you listening?
Look, why would China get favoritism with this administration? I don't know what that could be. Maybe only that
Love?
The president loves his son.
Loves.
And they support love.
China is love.
China is love.
Oh, my God. It's so bad.
Forced labor is love.
Forced labor. Slavery is love.
I mean,
wait a minute. Where's Kaepernick?
Well,
let me find Kaepernick.
We're all looking at this, with our everyday eyes. It just seems like everybody in the belt inside the Beltway, they have to go so far out of the way. So far out of the way, to stay on agenda. It's pretty simple. Is it me? Is it me? I mean, how could China be getting away with this? And how could this administration not see it? What would they be blinded by? Mountains of money?
I just love it because the whole love thing. That by the way, we were on first, and we said the Democrats probably would continue pounding it as they did yesterday, which a number have said that the only thing that Biden is guilty of is loving his son. We might as well end with this one. There's another article. Democrats' new Hunter Biden talking point. It's not new. Biden only guilty of being a loving father. Fox, where have you been?
Yeah, that's not new.
This isn't new. Come on. Jeez. What, is everybody at Fox, celebrating something else about Hillary Clinton or what? What's going on here? We were a lot more Fox people besides Dana Perino.
Outstanding Secretary of State.
Talking about the outstanding Hillary Clinton and what a great job she has been and what a service she's done to this country. Start paying attention to the news. That's not a new talking point, Fox.
We didn't mean to make our conservative audience nauseous before breakfast, by the way.
Well, come on. Democrats' new Hunter Biden talking point. It's an old talking point.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean the comments on Hillary.
Okay.
We didn't say it. We're mocking somebody at Fox News who said it. Was it Dana Perino?
Yeah.
Who reportedly went to an event and then
introduced Hillary.
Hillary.
What an amazing woman she is. It's like, wow.
Okay.
Now, is that somebody, think about it, no self-awareness of what her job is or who her audience is?
Or does she care?
Doesn't care. It's like, you get, that's why I like the fact that we're in Texas. I don't like being in the belt. I wouldn't want to be in the Beltway. And you and I talked about it before when you're in the Beltway and you hang around with Beltway people and you
talk Beltway things.
Well, it's almost like when I remember, I can't remember who it was, a Republican congressman. Maybe it was Fred Grandy who said it. Because I had met him when I had worked at our affiliate WROK. Then I met him again when Grandy worked at WMAL as a talk show host.
Right.
And it might have been Fred Grandy that told me it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. We talk about the populism of the Republican Party right now. Well, we can be better central planners, or
right.
Josh Hawley. Well, no, Republicans should think about, we need to care about the people, so we need to control the cost of capital, so we should put a cap on credit card interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you shouldn't.
No.
Or, whether Trump talking about a 10% tariff of all goods, coming into the country, things like that, where we know how to manipulate, or Trump promoting, subsidies for ethanol, or Trump promoting the Lordstown electric vehicle plant.
Right.
I mean, these are which got government subsidies. Well, I'm supporting the right government subsidies no, get out.
Yep.
I don't care whether you're Trump. I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're Josh Hawley. I don't care who you are. Get out of it. Leave the private sector alone.
Yep.
That's high. And Republicans are going in that, in that direction now. But as I think it was Grandy who told me that once you get up here, you realize that everybody calls their congressman to solve their problem. And so you get the feeling that you're up there to solve people's problems. Right. And how do you solve people's problems when you're in the federal government? More money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe it was him who said, so it doesn't matter. The pressure is there whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, because that's what the people that are calling your office are wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Money.
Yep.
And if that's the situation and that's the most pressure, you can't be surprised when the government moves in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, all the major things really are about money. I go back to the wall that would have cost $25 billion. That's like nothing. And it really is, if you look at where we are, what the landscape is politically. and people have said this for years, but I mean, on a number of things, Republicans want to do. It's all about what type of government control, what type of government involvement you're going to have. Mm-hmm. Well, the Republican Party needs to back away from that.
Yeah, they're not. They're moving in the opposite direction.
Exactly.
But the story here, Democrats, Democrats' new Hunter Biden talking point. It's not a new one. They're just emphasizing it again. Biden only guilty of being a loving father. House Democrats are now claiming Joe Biden is actually guilty, but of just loving his son Hunter. The House Oversight Committee held an impeachment inquiry Thursday, blah, 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 blah. Democrat Representative Maxwell Frost and Jasmine Crockett fumed at House Republicans during their 5-minute remarks, attempting to argue the president is innocent on the basis that he is just a father. Mm-hmm. And then they go through the quotes that they made. We played those quotes on the air, but they don't in here talk about the fact of did Republicans respond like we would have. Okay, so he's only guilty of being a father. What did he do?
Right.
If you're saying the Republicans are going after him because
what are you saying he did out of love?
Yeah, what did he do that Republicans believe they have something on?
Right.
And the only thing that we can come to is the fact, because we thought, well, wait a minute, did Biden love his son by saying we're forcing you into rehab? Well, then where are Republicans using that in order to make this case that the impeachment inquiry is legit? The only thing we could think is Democrats are thinking, oh, no. This justifies Hunter saying that he gave his father half his money and was ticked off at doing it. Therefore, his father must have taken half the money in order that Hunter couldn't buy more crack or prostitutes.
Right.
We're waiting for that goalpost now to move.
He did it out of love.
So he enriched himself out of love for his son so his son would not destroy his life. Otherwise, we have no idea what that even means.
Right. And the GOP should force them on it.
Yeah.
What are you saying he did out of love?
Yeah, exactly. Because you can have a blast with that one.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, you can do that in a mocking form, which is an extremely marketable way, an extremely great way to communicate your message to the other side. Instead of saying the word BS, mock them.
Yeah.
I mean, mock them, but the mocking shows the lack of substance to their argument. Right. That's why you're doing it.
Yep. You destroy it very quickly.
866-90-RED-EYE.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So here's one. Look at this here. Former Obama aide Steve Rattner told NBC News in an interview that President Biden bowed to progressives by joining the auto workers in their picket line and said the decision was outrageous. This is Obama. You notice the Republicans aren't saying it. I think the Republicans look at it and go, and maybe this is where Ratner's really coming from. Everywhere he goes, it's not good.
Right.
Because for him to be going on the picket line is outrageous. There's no precedent for it. The tradition of the president is to stay neutral in these things. I get the politics. The progressives all said, we don't want a mediator. We want an advocate. And he bowed to the progressives, and now he's going out there to put his thumb on the scale, and it's wrong. Ratner, who headed former President Obama's auto industry task force, told NBC.
Wow.
Whoa. I know. It's like, whoa.
I mean, we could see it. But for someone, a former person who was part of the Obama, a task force in this regard, but also talking to NBC, this was wrong for him to do that. You're tipping the scales.
Interesting thing, you have a former Obama aide saying, well, he's a political activist.
Right.
And he shouldn't be in this case. It's like, but the progressives all love it. They want him to be an advocate. Of course they do.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Look, times have changed since the Obama years. You know, you don't boil that frog slowly anymore.
And where
you get out there on the picket line.
Oh, and you told me, you said that somewhere somebody wrote the column that how come the Republicans aren't screaming about Menendez?
Right.
And the Democrats want him to resign.
Yeah, it was actually at National Review.
Was it National Review?
Yeah. Why are the Republicans not? Well, because they don't need to.
They don't need to.
Let the Democrats do it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it loudly.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood